Gen X women business owners, do you think your story is too boring to share? The truth is, your story is what makes you unique. I'm Candace Ridardi. This is Gratitude Geek, and today we are chatting about public relations and storytelling with Lauren Kwedar Cockerell. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Candace. I'm so glad to be here. And that's probably like the best intro I've ever gotten on a podcast. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yes. All right. So what does the audience need to know about you and your credentials?
Absolutely. Okay. So I own a PR firm called Kwedar & Co. I have an amazing team. We're based in North Texas, Fort Worth, and we work with businesses that think they're too boring for PR. They're doing great work. They're very purpose driven, but when it comes time to telling their story, they lead with humility and they're not quite sure what to share other than what the industry is sharing. And we help them uncover what is special and unique about the work that they do, the people they care for, and how they are impacting their communities, so that they can really connect with their ideal client and help them shine and do more great work.
That is an issue that Gen X women have. We have such an issue trying to self-promote and because it's like, well, what's made me any more special than anybody else?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Yes. I guess I have arrived for group therapy. Let's go. It is funny because I think in some ways it is a generational situation because, they're looking at from boomers to Gen X to millennials and Gen Z and beyond. Each one gets different messaging around our place in the universe and whether or not we are unique and do we stand out from the crowd. A lot of the messaging I got was I can and should do everything, but also, be humble and, you take care of others and don't be too loud.
Yeah.
And so,
and you're a woman, let the man be in
yeah.
charge. Yeah.
Yes. And so I'm my own worst PR person. I will say that. But also I will say that no matter how old you are or where you are generationally or whatever your background is, it's really hard to read the label from inside the bottle. It is really often very difficult to see your magic, especially after you get past, age 12 or so. We really lose touch with how our, special uniques and talents come together and coalesce to make something uniquely us. And sometimes it takes, or actually most times it takes someone seeing how all the stars align and say like, oh my gosh, once you add these three things together, these three unique things about you, there's no one else like you. And so I think that is something that like firms like ours or others that, when we can be this inside outside perspective of asking really tailored questions and getting to know you and your hopes, your dreams, your fears, and your work and what gets you up in the morning and what type of legacy are you looking to lead? Like all that comes together in a way that you all of a sudden, like you really start hitting people on the heart. And that's when the magic happens. And to encourage anyone listening to not be afraid of your story and don't be afraid to repel people too. Like you want your words to attract your herd. A friend of mine said that once. And
you want your words to attract your herd.
Right.
Okay. I like that.
Exactly. Yeah. That way people who are working with you are enthusiastically working with you versus, okay, you're just the choice I had, or it's a begrudging option. You want it to be a heck yes versus a meh, and also like not being afraid of no, not being afraid to not be a fit for someone. And that's been a big journey for me personally. And I'm still kind of, dealing with the, emotional after effects of it. But, on the outside, it's like, I'm trying to get to know as quickly as I can. When I'm in a sales conversation, like if I'm not a fit, no problem. I will make a recommendation on someone who might be a good one. But, when we are working together, we want to be a great fit so that we can connect with you and get the best work done.
But when you get to know as quickly as possible, you waste less of your time.
Yeah, everybody is wasting less of their time. I'm not, we're not following up with each other 6 months down the road. It's like if you're not like shut up and take my money, then that's okay.
I had someone tell me that they close every sales call they make because if it's a no, they refer somebody to somebody else. Like
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
you might not purchase from me, but you're going to purchase from somebody I know, or I'm going to give you a resource that
Mm-hmm.
it might not be mine. But I thought it was a really positive way of looking at it, because the no doesn't mean that's the end of this transaction. No just means that you're not the one who got paid for it,
Right.
which isn't a bad thing, because the law of reciprocity says what you give,
Mm-hmm.
you receive, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
in the spirit of not being very good at public relations, I would like to take a moment and pause and thank the audience. So, audience listener, I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because after I talked to Julie Marty Pearson last month about podcasting, and we talked about all sorts of resources, I'll reference that episode. It'll be linked in the show notes. I looked up on Listen Notes, and Listen Notes it's like the Billboard Top 40 for podcasts,
Mm-hmm.
right? I that's the best way I can describe it. So you as a listener don't really care, and Listen Notes doesn't matter. But as a podcaster, Listen Notes matters, because it tells you how well you're doing in the world of podcasting. And the last time I looked, I was a top 5 podcast, and that's really good. Top 5 is
Wow.
really good.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now I'm top 3, and I owe it to you.
Wow.
Top 3 is huge. Lauren just said, "Well, congrats," because you know what
I
top
do.
3
I do.
means.
Yeah.
It is
Congrats,
huge.
listeners. Congrats, Candace.
So thank you, listener. Thank you. You made that possible.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little verklempt. So
That's
yeah, that was
beautiful.
me saying thank you, but also telling y'all that I'm an awesome podcaster. Right?
Well, clearly you're resonating.
Thank you. All right. So, speaking of gratitude, how do you weave gratitude into your business strategy?
Wow. I mean, I would say it's part of everything that I do. I certainly first of all, I just feel lucky that I get to do something that I would feel like I was put on this earth to do. I'm sure, like anyone listening, I've had roles before where I was like, this is really not what this is not a great combination of my special skills and talents, and just really wasting away, and how that can impact your mental health and just overall quality of life when you're not getting to use what you were made to do. And now I get to, and that evolves over time too. I mean, when I first started my company, I'd actually been laid off at 8 months pregnant, and it was sort of like a, shot out of a cannon moment.
I thought that was illegal.
Yeah, like a lowercase I illegal, maybe.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, I was crowbarred out of a bad situation. Like, they ended the road for me when I was having a hard time doing it myself.
Mm.
And I'd always wanted to start own my own company. I just thought, well, when I'm 40, I'll know everything. uh, Spoiler alert: when I turned 40, I didn't figure everything out. And I'm in my mid 40s, still waiting on that penny to drop. It was a rough beginning, and I was just hell bent on being a solopreneur. I didn't want to have anybody relying on me. I just wanted to do the work and take care of clients. And I also had really young kids. I was obviously pregnant, and I had a 3-year-old. And that was all the maternal energy I could muster. But now I love getting to care for and nurture our team as well as our clients. And that is just such a gift to me. And I don't take their trust in me for granted. People are relying on me to pay their mortgages every month, and I'm grateful for that trust every single month. Every single day, and for our clients as well. These are really great businesses, and it's a two-way street. We're partners, not vendors, and that they can be so open and vulnerable with us, so that we can do what we're great at. And then they hear us, like, we show up at the table. We tell the hard truth. We don't just tell you what you want to hear and do what you want to do. Like, we push back. We point out when you're making a mistake. We're nice about it, but we're still being like, oh, I don't know about that, and that it's received. And it's, I mean, I probably cry like 3 times a week at work, just because I'm moved by by the intimacy of the relationships I get to have, and I'm very grateful for that. And so I never take it for granted, whether we're having a gangbuster year or a tough one. It's a gift to get to follow your purpose and to help others.
The fact that being fired is a door that opens for opportunity is a conversation for different podcasts. Because if we go down that road, we're not going to have time to talk
Mm.
about storytelling as a small business owner and the importance of public relations. I think it's important that we define what public relations is,
Mhm.
because it's not posting on social media. It's completely different.
Yes. So I was raised in my professional world to think about public relations as a function of management and leadership, and marketing is a function of sales. So when we do marketing, we need an ROI. We need to put butts in seats. We need to sell widgets or services. When we're doing public relations, we're affecting the reputation and the brand of the business. We're not always part of a campaign to sell shoes or ideas. Sometimes we're talking about new leadership, or a rebrand, or an opening or a closing of something. And so it's strategic communications is the bucket it's falling under, and sometimes it's internal communications. It needs to always be both. We want to make sure everyone's rowing in the same direction. But a part of that is media relations, which is what people usually think about when they think about PR, working with the media. But it's not necessarily the flashy publicity that we see in Hollywood. And so for me, when we're doing PR for companies, we're asking our clients, like, where are you really taking this business? Not just today, not tomorrow, but like 5 years from now. What do you want to have happen? Because we don't want unintended consequences either. If we don't want to accidentally like box you into a corner that you now can't get out of in a year, because we've like papered the town with a message about, oh, they're this type of business and you're doing this type of thing, and then, oh, just kidding, you wanted to do this all along. Well, so it's really thinking through long range planning so that you can achieve the goals that you want to achieve, and we get to work with the media as a part of that, so that we're not just saying, hey, we're great, buy from us or work with us. It's this third party endorsement coming through of, this is an interesting company that's worth looking, here's what they're doing. And it allows for there to be this external validation, where people will give it, 3 to 10 times its weight of an ad. For instance, if you're like, here we are, grand opening, versus a story being written about you, you're just going to give it so much more credibility if it's coming from, a reporter versus, a blog post, for instance.
Hmm. And podcasters now fit into that whole mediascape. I don't think we did it on purpose. I mean, this show's 12 years old. So when we started
Amazing.
podcasting, we did it because it was fun. We could talk to interesting people. We could meet interesting people. But it turned out that we had a voice that had influence, which is,
Mhm.
I think if you would ask anybody who started their podcast more than 10 years ago, they would not have expected podcasting to become as mainstream as it's become.
I remember when podcasting came out, and I was working for another PR firm at the time. So this is wild. I mean, like right when it came out, and I remember my boss at the time was like, "There's this new thing called podcasting. We should look at that for our clients." I remember looking at her going, "Paige, what are you on about?" who would who would do this? And it took a while for it to take off. So you were an early adopter, so kudos to you. I mean, it took me a minute. It's probably been 6 or 7 years maybe since it's really caught my attention. And now it's a daily part of my life. But it's so interesting because for PR people, our jobs are harder than they've ever been before. I mean, 20 years ago, it was like you had your TV shows, you had your newspapers, maybe some trade journals. That was really it. And now it's like we've got Substack, social media, podcasts, YouTube channel. I mean, it's just like all these creators. I mean, on one hand, there's been this great democratization of information, where it's, if you have a story to tell, you can tell it. And on the other hand, it's like, well, there's a lid for every pot. I tell you what, like
Yeah.
our media
Well,
lists are very
and
long.
you have to, and you also have to vet the source. I mean, there are a lot of independent news people who have absolutely no journalism experience whatsoever. They're just, regurgitating whatever they read. And they even do it on mainstream
Right.
television news shows.
Right. Syndicating,
according to the New York Times, according to the Washington Post, they don't even do their own reporting anymore. They just regurgitate what other reporters are doing.
Yeah.
However, in the last couple of years, so many mainstream reporters, like people who had been on ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, they have moved on to independent broadcasting. They have their own YouTube channel. They have their own independent, so the number of opportunities is so much more, but you have to be cautious that you are aligning your message with the message of the host or the journalist or the media
Right.
outlet, because it's a very divisive time, and you have to juggle who do I want to attract into my business, and who do I want to repel. Repelling people is more important today than ever. You want to add to that?
Retweet, yes. I'll just from a PR perspective, as you think about PR and you're like, oh my gosh, this is super overwhelming, because there are Substacks, there are all these content creators, there are traditional news outlets. You can't just spray and pray. Like, people are still human beings, and we have to cultivate and customize pitches for each one, so that we're, like, hi, so and so, I see the work that you're doing. This is why this is a fit for you, not just like, you get the same thing everybody else does. So yeah, it's harder than it's ever been, but it's also really interesting because there's more opportunity, and more multimedia. That we've got video, we have audio, we have text, and digital and print. I mean, there's still print, and so it's just we do these things called coverage reports after we send out an announcement. And they're, in these Google Docs, we're trying to link out to it, but we're also, scanning in physical pieces. I mean, it's just like, we used to have these things called clipping services where, someone in a back room somewhere was like, clipping it out of the newspaper and mailing it to us. We also used to send releases by fax machine too. So I've been doing this for 23 years now, and it's just, the technology itself has changed so much in that time. In some ways it's gotten easier, but otherwise it's gotten so much harder, because there's just so much to consider, and to do the story justice, we have to consider all the different opportunities for it, and there are lots of opportunity.
My husband and I had a custom furniture business, and I have a file folder of the clippings from our magazine and newspaper coverage.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to see. We were even in a couple of books, but it's just really fun
Beautiful.
to see your work in print, right? It's so
Yeah.
rewarding. And I don't get that same feeling from the internet.
No, no. Yeah, we'll get, a client will be in a magazine or something, and they'll send us a copy, and I'll get it from our mailbox, and I just have stacks all over my office. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but I don't want to let them go.
Flipping through. I listen to audiobooks, but if the book's really good, I get it in print.
Yes.
So that I have that I can open it up and I can read the words that I heard, right?
Yeah.
So the print means more. It's just, it's so easy to consume without it.
Exactly.
Back in the day, we would buy a ream of paper every 2 weeks. Now we buy one ream of paper a year, right? We don't even print anything.
Right.
So tell us how a boring person who thinks their story is boring, how do we make our story less boring without embellishing?
So one of the shortcuts, and it's I'm going to gloss over it a little bit, just because we do have a whole methodology. It's called the thread. It's a proprietary methodology I've been honing for the last 2+ decades of how we really excavate the story. But if you boil it down to its essence, it's why do you do this, and what does it mean to your customer? how are their lives better because of what you do? And if so like just keep peeling that onion back layer, like, okay, so if you feel like you're getting a surface level answer that everyone else is saying, just, okay, well, what's the next layer down? um Even if it's a very transactional relationship, like I'm buying a ream of paper from you, for instance, you really can get there. It's like, okay, well, what is there anything different about what's happening? Is it the paper? Is it sourced from a particular place? But if you're the low cost leader, okay, well, are you saving someone some money so that they can then, like, is it going to a teacher who is using their own money to make sure their classroom has everything that they need? Like, there's always something there. Like, you just don't let yourself off the hook with that first answer. And it's like, I remember I worked for someone once and I was like, well, why? I wanted to get into like Simon Sinek, start with why. I was like, well, why are you doing this? They're like, to make money. I'm like, super. And they just absolutely resisted any other conversation. So don't be like that. It is
To
there.
be
I promise
fair,
you.
there are people who actually that's all they care about.
Sure.
They want
Well,
they pick the career path that will get them the fancy car and the fancy house.
hmm but why? I mean, so it's like, why?
Well,
Why?
yeah, maybe
Why?
they were
Why?
abused by their father and they needed to show them. I mean, yeah. It's like that.
Mhm.
I think it was Honda or Toyota who came up with this concept, and I cannot remember what it's called. And I'll link to it in the show notes because listeners, it's a very good process.
Mhm.
But when something breaks
Mhm.
at one of their factories,
Mhm.
and I wish I could remember if it was Toyota or Honda, it's one of those. When something breaks at their factory, they go, "Well, why is this broken?"
Yeah. Mhm.
And then, "Well, why is that? Why is
Mhm.
that?" And they ask why at least 5 times
Yep. Mhm.
before they figure out. And that seems to me like thread,
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
process of
Mhm.
thread,
Yeah,
because when you
exactly.
pull the thread, you just keep pulling
Mhm.
it,
Yep.
and
Mhm. Pull
and
it till it's
eventually,
taut. Yep.
yeah. So,
And it's not like, and I'll back to why, why do you do this? I will say people don't necessarily care about that right away. You have to show them what's in it for them first, because we are human beings are selfish by nature. Like, that is just how we were made. That's just the fact of it. We want to see ourselves like, or I'm here with you recording this and I'm looking at my own face more than yours. I'm like trying to look at you, but I keep looking at mine. It's like, that's just how it goes. Like, um,
yeah,
it,
I'm trying not to look at me because I realized after I looked at myself later that my lighting was bad, but oh well.
no, but you look great. And I'm like, you're cute as a button. I'm like trying to look at you and I'm talking to you and I'm like, oh, but look at her. And here she is. But that's just human nature. Like, you give us a mirror, we're going to look into it. And if I land on your website, for instance, I want to see myself in it, in your words. And so we have
Yeah,
to get there. Like, why do I care about what you do? How are you
yeah,
making my life better? If you're the cheapest one, okay, cool. That means I have more money for other things. If you're the best one, why are you the best? Like, like, how are you getting me safely to the other side of whatever journey this is? And I mean, you give me any product, we can do it. But it's just, that's what people want to see. And then we can build in, okay, is this a multi-generational business? Are you leaving a legacy? Or like, what's the one that you're wanting to leave behind? Like, then we start to layer in all these different aspects of it, but we always begin with the customer so that we capture their attention. And then once we have their attention, now we can talk about you.
mm. Yeah. It's not start with why; it start with who's why.
Their why. It's
Their
their
why.
why.
Yeah, their why.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that I have this conversation with a lot of people where Simon Sinek is great, but he's a little off base.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Okay,
I
so
adore him, but yeah, it's
yeah,
nobody cares. I mean, you
yeah,
care.
yeah,
Feels like
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Nobody cares about your story. They care about their story in
Yeah.
your book.
They care after you've built some trust. Now I want to know about you. Now we're in a relationship, and of course I care now. Now I want to be like, okay, well, tell me about your furniture company. Like, now I want to know everything.
I was at a comic convention last weekend and I met a author. He's written this whole series of books. And he undercharges for this, but for $25, you can become a character in his books. and
Sign me up.
and and he brings back the character in his in multiple stories. So you are constantly, if another book comes out written by him, you want to know if you're in the story, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
think he needs to charge more than $25.
Yeah. Seriously.
But and
But he's making it back because
but
you're buying his book, looking to see if you're in there.
but this is brilliant. I mean, have you ever seen South Park? Do you know who Kenny is?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so there's this character Kenny in South Park who dies in every episode. He actually has a dude who said, I don't care. I don't care what you do with me as a character. I just want to die epically. So every couple of books, he kills off this character epically in every couple of books. So he just keeps bringing him back and killing him again.
That's so funny.
But it's not just the person who paid the $25 to become a character. It's everybody else who's invested. Oh my God, my friend is a character in this book. That's why I love reading these stories. He has made something, he has churned his passion into something that people are invested in. And I'm assuming that that's where you're going with figuring out the story.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's like, why does anyone care? It's like, tell, and I think a lot of times what's low hanging fruit is, well, my grandfather started this business in 1938 and here we are today. And, whatever. And like, that's we drive the same old truck and, you just pull stuff like, and it's out there. And that's not uninteresting. It's just, it's not in the right place. And you have to earn trust first. And you have to hook the reader or listener or viewer and get them to care before you can, you can tell that part of it. And you show people you care by showing that you're interested in them and that you understand what they're going through and that, you're here for them.
I met a guy a few years ago, and I don't want to call out his business. I'm trying to keep it as general as possible. But he told me that his grandfather started his company, and he didn't want to be the person who made the company fail. Like his story was that he wanted to honor his grandfather, which I don't think is enough. Right. You want to honor your grandfather's legacy, but do you really want to do the work that you're doing?
Right. Yeah. I have some really lovely clients who are their great grandfather started their company and they are the fourth generation running it, and they are honoring the past, but they have a crystal clear vision of what's the future, and they are absolutely they are honoring a legacy while also building their own. And you're interested in the story, not just because the company is so many decades old, but because of what's happening here and now and what they have done to make it their own and to, kind of doing these two things at the same time of like, it's always been a good business. Now we've made it our own and we've diversified and grown it tremendously, and it's super fascinating, but not because just because their great grandfather started it. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Well, if you can't keep adapting and changing, a company that was started by your great grandfather would have been started over 100 years ago, right? About 100 years ago, right?
Almost, yeah.
There is so much that happened in 100 years, and we don't do business the same way at all. I mean, I can't imagine any company that was started 100 years ago that is exactly the same as it was 100 years ago.
Right. Yeah. You would not be in business.
Innovation is so important. Innovation. Okay, so now that we've identified what public relations is and we've identified the importance of storytelling and we know our story, do you have any tips on figuring out what your story is? Like, what is one question we can ask ourselves to get to our interesting story that's worth pitching?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's really helpful to think about your favorite client. Hopefully you have clients. So a favorite client or a customer or like what the avatar of that, if it's more transactional, you might have to think of a composite or avatar. And think about them and really like put some flavor on like who they are. Like, what does their life look like? Are they married? Do they have kids? Like really like picture them in your mind's eye and think about how you are helping them and what they need from you and why they should work with you and why they trust you and what is the real value, not just what they buy from you, but what is the true value of what they are purchasing from you, whether it's a recurring deal or once in a lifetime. Like really clear on that, and everything else will be so easy. And you can put that into an AI engine or whatever it is, to help flesh it out further and to really then get to like like that's going to be really meandering and all over the place. You want to dial it in as much as you can to just like a crisp log line. But once you know that and can build out sort of your reason for existence, with that them as the foreground, not you. You're in the background. Your story is going to come together very nicely. So it's like when we are so once we have that, for instance, and we're going out to the media, then we need, okay, like what's happening right now. That's when we get into PR. It's like it can't just be like we exist, and then you're kind of like, I have to pitch a profile or something like that. That's a lot harder to do if we're talking about traditional media or most media other than podcasting. We'll get to podcasting. We're talking about most media. We need a why now hook. And so that's your next work of what's happening right now. Are you launching something? Have you added someone to the team? And then, so again, why does anyone care about that? And then now you're ready to start talking to people.
That's the thing. Is it media worthy in the landscape that we're in? It might be to some media outlets.
Maybe. I mean, if it's just a sale, that's not, nobody cares. They want you to buy an ad for that. But
But if you had a fire and you have to have a fire sale, there might be an angle there. Maybe.
Or if you're donating 10% of proceeds to a nonprofit or something like that, okay, now we're cooking. Like it has to benefit more than just you.
Yeah. Or celebrating a huge anniversary or something. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
Or launching a new product, or I don't know. There's top 5 reasons why you would send out a press release.
Yeah. Okay. So
come up with 5.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot
right,
here.
I gotta use all my fingers here. New product or service. That's easy. New line of business. New executive team member, needs to be director level and above. If you're shutting something down, people want to know about that. Community, or like a community any sort of partnership. Like if you're co-branding, or like if you're doing co-marketing, something like if you and a nonprofit are teaming up, like that'd be good too. So that's 5. And there's many more where that came from. I'll start with 6, like a merger or acquisition. Those are kind of our top ones.
So I recently joined the Marketing Podcast Network. I was independent and now I'm part of a network. Mm-hmm. And when I joined the network, I sent out a press release. Mm-hmm. Are you proud of me?
I am very proud of you.
It didn't get picked up, but
it's out there.
I did the work. I did the work, right? Mm-hmm. I did the work. Mm-hmm. I did what I was supposed to do. And, I could have just sent it on the wrong day or whatever.
Well, and sometimes just if it's not something you do a lot, one drop in the bucket, they're maybe just waiting for you to follow up. I mean, sometimes the number of times that I've followed up on a news story, and then you throw out like a random thing like, oh, it's National Whatever Day, and the broadcast TV channel's like, oh yeah, that's the one we want to cover. And you're like, really?
Let's talk about the actual pitch. Yeah. And pitching to mainstream media, doing a press release is not the same as pitching to a podcast, but maybe it is today. I don't know. Your thoughts?
It's so funny because as I mentioned, I've been doing this for a long time, since 2003. And so this is just part of who I am. I've been doing it longer than I haven't at this point. And so you kind of forget the magnitude of what you know. And so then we start pitching podcasts. We're successful at that. Then I started my own podcast that was a interview style podcast, and people started pitching me. And I realized, oh, this is not universal knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are rules of the road that we use across all media, whether it's your local newspaper or trade journal or podcast. We want to make we're putting the recipient first and foremost, and we're thinking about them, like, how can we help you be successful? Because you're busy, whether the podcasting is your main gig or not, whether you're a reporter full time, like everyone's busy. So how can I save you some time? How can I show up with a guest, whether it's me or somebody else, and be super prepared and show you that I'm really prepared? I'm gonna make your life really easy. You're gonna get great content. And then at the end of the day, we are going to share what has happened so that you get the link love that you deserve. So being able to encapsulate that in a really tight package is what we want to show. We don't want, I've gotten pitches for my show that are like, hey, love to be on your show. I'm like, cool. Thanks. What do you want me to do with that?
Use a service called Podmatch to find many of my guests. And I have laid out very clearly who my audience is, GenX women solopreneurs, what the format is, who I'm looking to interview, the topics I want to discuss. I mean, I have laid it out very clearly. And even on that service, I still get mismatched pitches.
Yeah.
And they're so off base. So off base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will same. And so I'll get the one line like, I want to be on your show, which is like, I'm not even going to click anything in here.
Yeah.
Like, that's so disrespectful.
Pass.
No. Or I'll get, War and Peace in an email, which is
written
also
by AI.
disrespectful.
Written by AI.
It's like my time, both of those signal two things. Me, the wannabe guest, my time is more important than yours. I'm not going to do the work to tell you how I'm going to make your life easier and better by me showing up on your show. But like, you want something engaging, you want it quick, you want to capture attention and show what I'm going to do when we're done here. And those do, that's what we want. We want to show that we care and that I'm respecting your time and your audience and you as a person. And we do that across the board. And if you do that, you're going to be so much more successful than anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And if you say you're going to promote the episode after the episode goes live and you never do, you're not going to get asked back. And all podcasters know each other.
Right.
We'll tell on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a super big bummer. You put time, money, effort into producing a great show and to doing it, and then you're marketing it, and then the other person just like takes it for granted. They're just like you feel used and abused. It doesn't feel good. So you want to show up as a human being and treat the other human being in the relationship with the respect that they deserve. Otherwise, just don't do it.
I think that we are in the age of collaboration. Like we've already started. The age of collaboration has begun, and it's just going to keep getting bigger. And if you don't go into podcasting as a podcast guest with the mindset of I am collaborating on this content, like right now, you and I are collaborating on content. Right. Before we started recording, we talked about what we were going to talk about, and then we're creating what we decided we were going to talk about before we started recording. This is a total collaboration. And when this is on you, when I upload the video to YouTube, I will add you as a collaborator and it'll show up for both of our audiences. It is a true collaboration. If you don't accept it, if you don't accept that collaboration link, then you're missing out on but you're missing out on an opportunity. Spotify is rolling this out. Spotify is adding the ability to name the guest in the in the fields that you fill out in Spotify. The guest name is one of the fields that you can start filling out. Podmatch does the same. Not Podmatch. Podchaser does the same thing. It gives you an opportunity to put in the name of the guest in the guest field. There and IMDb. Many podcasts list their shows on IMDb because you can. They're are considered a media outlet. So IMDb says if you're a podcast, you can list it on
giving out Grammys for it now. So
they're giving out Grammys for it. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But why create a category that independents can never win? It's odd. It's going to be Amy Poehler. It's going to be whoever the big person is. Yeah, no, it's true, but there are a lot of independents who have great shows too.
Totally. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah. Okay. Where was I going with this conversation? Oh, I do want
to podcast. I know.
Pitching a podcast. Okay. So, what are your thoughts on folks who are like, I want to be on 200 podcasts this year?
It's a lot of podcasts. Yeah, I tell them what I tell everybody, which is start small. You need to know what your offer is and you need to practice it a bunch. And I will say that the hosts feel that when you are just on a mission to cast and blast and be on as many as you can, because it doesn't feel like a collaboration. It feels like you're just using them like tissue and discarding them. Plus, like you're just then using them as like a host, like a parasite to talk to their audience rather than what are you doing to then amplify it to your audience. It's like,
I love the phrase "you're a parasite," and the host and parasite. Oh my gosh, I have just added that to my vocabulary. Thank you. Download complete.
because that's what it feels like when you're trying to do that many. That means you are only communicating via that host. You are not putting anything back out to your channels because that's gross. Or if you are, like, no one's listening to it because there's just so much. So like that type of volume is oppressive, honestly. And I would
Yeah.
say slowly roll. I'd rather you do 52 really good ones. 200 is just too many. Like even if you got a book that you're doing,
I got
what are
12.
you doing with that
Well,
after?
well, okay. If you're
12
promoting a book, I totally get being on a
You
lot
got to do the
more.
road show, yeah, which is fine, but 200 is quite a lot. Like, what are you doing for other people? That's my question to you. So I'd rather you nail your message. Okay, try that. What's next? And just climb. It's a ladder. Climb the ladder, and bigger and bigger shows. Maybe you'll be on a top 3 show one day. I don't know.
I've told this story on the show before, but you've never heard it, so I'm sharing it with you. In 1950, my mother's grandfather and a bunch of musicians and dancers came to the United States on a goodwill mission from Korea, and they traveled around the country performing Korean folk music and dancing.
Mm.
And I found the exact same news article in like a dozen different newspapers around the country. It's the exact same article that just was syndicated and included, like, here is the article, it goes in your paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that changed was the location where the performance was.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That worked then.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
And it still works in newspapers and magazines, newspapers, but it doesn't work for media. You cannot go on NBC, CBS, and ABC and have the exact same conversation with 3 different news people. You have to,
Yeah. Just like, I mean, it's literally impossible because they're not going to ask you the same questions. Yeah.
and you do not show up on a podcast with canned answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't come on a podcast with your 5 to 7 minute Toastmasters answer to every single question that the host asked you. Because number one, hosts aren't going to ask you those questions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We're going to throw you off by saying, hey, do you want to talk about this today?
Just see the buffering sign above my head.
Okay, we need. Oh wow, we really need it. We've gone over. So let's nail this. First of all, you have a free gift for the audience. Talk about that.
Yep. So as I mentioned, I did realize that not everybody knows everything that I know, particularly in the vein of podcast pitching. So we have a great free guide on our website. It is right now in March of 2026. It is the main pop. Like if you come to my website, kwedarco.com, it pops up and it offers you this free guide. At some point, that's going to move to our resources page because I'll have something new coming up. So if you don't see it, just go to my resources tab and it'll be there. And there's a bunch of other free downloads there too for you. But that in that download, there's a lot of what we're talking about today. So things that we've my company uses when we're thinking about who are we talking to? How can we show up? How can we do a great pitch? How can we be a great guest? And what do we do after the show so that you are a compelling guest and people want you to come on and come back? So that's available to you, and would love for you to go out there and be a great guest.
So just to recap, figure out what your story is, pull the thread until you get to the root of the story, create your pitch, and pitch the podcast or the media outlets. And download your free guide. All right.
And when you get on a show, share it with your people, share it with your social media, share it with your email list, amplify the episode.
Yes, because that's the PR part.
That is the actual PR part. It's not so much the episode. It's sharing that somebody that Candace trusted me to come on. She's a top 3 show. She's invited me on to her show and trusted me with her audience. And when I share that, that signals, oh, Lauren knows what she's talking about.
Mhm.
Candace invited her
Yes.
on.
Yes. So, Lauren, is there anything that you wanted to talk about today that we didn't cover?
Oh my gosh. I need 3 more hours if that's the case. I'll just end with saying, no one has a boring story. If it feels boring to you, it's just because you haven't sat with it and thought about it. And I'm sure you're doing beautiful work, and people are trusting you. There's a reason for that. It's time to make the invisible visible. And so do the work. You will feel so much better, even if you do nothing with it, but share it with your prospective customers and clients. You will feel so much better for having done that work.
All right, Lauren, this is your moment of gratitude. For whom or what are you most grateful?
Well, I'll be a teacher's pet and say, Candace, thank you for. I'm grateful that you've had me on today. I've really enjoyed our conversation. But I do also, I come with a grateful and tender heart today. I'm just really grateful to my team and my family and my clients. Like those are the 3 groups of people I spend the most time with, and the fact that they see something in me that is trustworthy, and that they know that I'm a safe place to share their biggest dreams and darkest fears with on a daily basis. It's a gift I don't take lightly, and I'm just very grateful.
Thank you for tuning in to Gratitude Geek, the podcast for Gen X women business owners who weave gratitude into their business strategy. Our theme music is by Rev Brock and Solily. I've been your host, Candace Rodarty. Stay groovy, my friends.
Stay groovy, my friends.